All right, let's jump right in. We're going to take a look at a pretty unique summer camp down in South Gujarat. It's tackling a problem that so many of us are thinking about these days. How do you build real-world skills for a generation that's, well, growing up online? Let's get into it. So this really is the big question, isn't it, for so many parents today? Our kids spend so much time behind screens. So how do we teach them what's called dunyadari? That real-world wisdom. It's a huge challenge, but one summer camp believes it's figured out a way forward. But what is dunyadari really? What does it mean? Well, it's this amazing blend of things. It's having the grit to just keep going when things get tough. It's having those street smarts to make good calls. It's about having the social confidence to connect with people. And of course, the practical life skills to just stand on your own 2 feet. Basically, it's all the stuff you just can't learn from a textbook. Okay, so this is where the Purna River Retreat, or PRR for short, comes into the picture. They've actually designed their whole program to tackle this exact problem. So let's see what makes this thing more than just your average summer camp. First off, the format. It's a 3-day, 2-night residential camp located near Surat, and it's aimed squarely at Gen Z and Gen Alpha. The whole idea is to get them out of their normal routine, and really focus on building that independence and those crucial real-world skills we've been talking about. And they've split it up into 2 different programs, depending on your child's age, which makes a lot of sense. For the little ones, the 6 to 10-year-olds, you've got the Junior Pathfinders, which is all about creative teamwork. Then for the older kids, 11 to 15, it's the Senior Leaders Program. And that's where they really dive deep into those advanced dunyadari ideas and leadership skills. And yeah, those fees you see, they cover everything: food, the tent stays, all the activities, the whole shebang. So what does a day at this camp actually look like? What are the kids doing? Let's break it down day by day, starting with day 1, which is all about laying that crucial foundation, building roots and making connections. Now, you've got to understand every single activity here has a purpose. It's all intentional. Right from the get-go, they form squads to build that team identity. Then there's this incredible Power of No workshop. How important is that? Teaching kids about social boundaries. They even have the campers write a private letter to themselves, setting their own goals. And to wrap it up, they bring back old-school heritage games like Gilli Danda. It's brilliant. It fosters teamwork and a connection to their culture. All right, moving on to day 2. This is where they start building on that foundation they set on the first day. This is where the kids really start to dig in and develop that grit and those practical dunyadari skills. And believe me, their philosophy is super hands-on. The day literally starts with a supervised mud bath and a sprinkler dance. Now, I know what you're thinking. It just looks like a ton of fun, right? But the purpose behind it is actually pretty deep. It's all about teaching kids to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, to just embrace new things and build confidence out in a natural setting. Then, later in the day, things get really interesting. They have something called the Dunyadari Masterclass, which is basically a crash course in financial literacy. But look how they do it. This is not some boring lecture. First, they learn the basic logic of money, earning versus spending. Then they talk about making smart choices versus those impulse buys we're all guilty of. And then, this is the best part, they put it all into practice with a marketplace simulation. The squads have to earn and spend tokens. It is literally learning by doing. And that brings us to the final day, day 3. The whole theme here is about leaving a legacy and getting ready for the launch. Heading back into the real world, but now armed with a bunch of new practical skills. And this last day is just packed with these really empowering activities. You've got a hands-on lifesaver workshop where they learn basic first aid. Then there's a self-reliance challenge where the kids have to manage all their own gear and even learn some simple no-fire cooking. And it all wraps up with them creating a time capsule as a squad. What a beautiful way to seal those memories and the lessons they've learned together. Okay, but let's be real. For any parent considering this, there's one question that's bigger than anything else. Is it safe? So let's talk about how the camp makes sure every single child is taken care of. And you know what? They tackle the most obvious concern for this area right off the bat, that intense summer heat in South Gujarat. It's the question every single parent is going to ask, right? How do you keep my kids safe in that kind of weather? Well, their answer is simple, and it's totally non-negotiable. It's called the Cool Zone Mandate. During the hottest part of the day, from noon to 4 p.m., every camper is inside a fully air-conditioned banquet hall. It's not a suggestion, it's a rule. And that just completely takes the risk of heat stroke off the table. But okay, what about other medical emergencies, beyond the heat? Well, the camp has what they call the 5-minute medical rule. This means professional medical help is available within just 5 minutes of the venue, and a full hospital is only 15 minutes away. Now that is a very, very reassuring number for any parent. And to make sure that every kid gets enough attention and safe, they cap each batch at just 100 students. Why does that matter? Well, it guarantees a really high staff-to-student ratio, and that means constant supervision and just way better management of the whole group. And the safety features don't stop there. We're talking 24/7 supervision by the squad leaders. They use high-quality, weatherproof tents for the stays. The pool, it's a chlorine-free bore well pool, so it's much gentler on the kids' skin and eyes. And maybe most importantly, this isn't some rented school or temporary setup. It's a permanent, high-standard retreat venue. That makes a huge difference. So we've talked about the skills, we've talked about the safety, but what's the ultimate takeaway? The emotional core of this whole experience? Well, that brings us to something really special that the camp calls its one friend promise. This is the promise they make to every parent. आपका बच्चा कम से कम एक दोस्त बना के जाएगा. It means your child will leave with at least one true friend. Wow. In a world where it can be so hard to make those genuine connections, that is such a powerful and heartfelt promise. So when you really put all the pieces together, you see that this camp isn't just about having fun for a few days. It's a carefully structured experience. It's designed from the ground up to build social confidence, financial awareness, teamwork, self-reliance, and yeah, as we just heard, true friendship. It's really the complete Dunyadari package. And that really leaves us with one final thought. One last question for every parent out there. In this age of digital distractions and nonstop academics, is this the kind of experience, one that's focused on grit, connection, and real practical wisdom, that will truly prepare your child for the world that exists beyond the classroom?